Willie D. Live.
How much of a chance do a guy have if you go into a courtroom with a court-appointed lawyer?
Oh, I love this question. Our court appointment system here in Harris County is something that I am proud of. And I don't know if every judge could say that in Harris County for a while, because we have now created essentially an infrastructure for lawyers who decide to apply, because notice I said apply, to get on the court-appointed wheel. They have to meet certain criteria. So in Harris County, you could have just graduated from law school, passed the bar, you have your own criminal defense practice. You can accept clients, retain clients, but you can also apply to get on the court appointment wheel, which means that you would have to take a test and you have to demonstrate to the Board of District Court judges, so all of the judges, that you are qualified to represent people who are charged with certain offenses. So you will apply to, let's say, get on the 3rd-degree felony list, which means that you can represent people charged with 3rd-degree felonies. You can apply to get on the 2nd-degree felony list, which means you can apply and represent people who are charged with 2nd degrees and lower. But the criteria we have made so exhaustive, meaning that you have to demonstrate not only have you tried these types of cases, you've had trials, you've conducted several hearings, you've been practicing for a certain amount of time, and we are now giving lawyers caps on how many cases they can accept. Because for a while, what you saw was tons of court-appointed lawyers who were just taking as many cases as they could, and they didn't have the capacity to represent people fairly. Yeah. And so you got this image that people think of when you think of a court-appointed lawyer, and it's like somebody who is dressed poorly, who doesn't know what's going on, papers are falling out of their files.
That's usually how they look too. But that's how it be.
When I tell you, it is remarkably different. And it's because we have taken the time to actually vet the people who are going to be representing people who are indigent. Because just because you're indigent doesn't mean that you shouldn't get a good lawyer.
So what's in it for the lawyer?
Well, they get paid too.
I mean, are they getting the kind of money that they normally would get from a free?
Not from a retained case, no. Yeah. But they get paid very well by the county. But actually, the last murder case that we had in our court, the defendant was found not guilty. And he was represented by 2 court-appointed lawyers. Mm-hmm. And the first thing, I always go back and talk to...
But what are these court-appointed lawyers, the normally paid paid lawyers?
They accept retained. They accept retained clients, but they're also on the court-appointed list. Right. So they can be, once they're on the wheel, they can accept clients who are charged with certain offenses. And the jury said, how was the defendant able to afford those 2 lawyers? And I took such pride in that, because they thought that this man, and he didn't present in a way who could afford the quality of representation that he received. Mm-hmm. And I said, oh, they're court appointed. And they were shocked, because in their mind, like a lot of people, they thought that court-appointed lawyers were not efficient. They thought that they were not effective, and they were probably just going to railroad him into the system. Because that could have been a case where if that guy, he was charged with murder, and that's what we were talking about, on its face, sometimes people, if they don't do their due diligence, they will get railroaded. It could have been a case where if the lawyer was not diligent, he could have taken a plea deal, because something happened during the trial where he actually thought that he was going to get convicted. And so his lawyer and the prosecutor started talking about working out a plea deal, because the jury asked a certain question when they were deliberating. So the lawyer and the prosecutor started talking and seeing if he would plead to something. And then the jury returned a verdict and he was not guilty.